Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I am out at Heroes Park in Meridian today, and I'm going to do something today that I've been wanting to do for a while. And I've got 3 mini drones with me today. I have the DJI Mini SE, I have the Fimi X8 Mini, and I have the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. We're going to put all 3 of these drones up in the air today, and we're going to look at primarily at the video quality of the 3 drones. Now, I'm not really going to go into the feature set on them. There's a lot of features on all 3 of them, and they're all a little bit different. The Mini SE probably having less features than the other. We're going to shoot in the best video quality with each one. 4K 30 frames per second in both the Fimi and the Hubsan, and I'll put the Hubsan up to its 200 megabit bit rate, and of course the little DJI Mini SE, its top video rate is in 2.7K. Now I do have the Mini 2, and I thought about bringing it because it shoots in 4K, but I thought, you know, it'll be interesting to see how these other drones compare with the Mini SE, and you know, the Mini SE has proven to me to be a pretty amazing little product, and I've enjoyed the video quality of it. So I just want to see how these other 2 can they, at their 4K resolutions, will they measure up? And yeah, we'll just take a look. And of course, this is all very subjective. We're going to do everything in fully automatic with all 3 drones to make it perfectly even. I'm not going to preset white balance, EV, anything. We're going to put them all in automatic. And as I said, 4K 30 in the Fimi and the Hubsan drone, and the top resolution on the DJI Mini SE is 2.7K 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and run a similar pattern here in the park. We're going to go out and do a droney, kind of do go around the perimeter of the park, and then my intention is to do kind of a half circle around the American flag over here in the one corner, and then we'll go across the street out into the field, go out into the field a little ways, turn around and come back, and then we'll do them one at a time. So the other thing that I want to point out is I am using the iPhone 11 Pro Max as the mobile device on this, and I'm going to leave everything on the phone. I'll have wireless on and everything. So just want to set the parameters so you guys know what we're doing. And yeah, when we do the conclusion, I'll try and put the 3 videos in a different quadrant on the video here, and take a look at that and see what you think. Now, I do want to say sometimes when you reduce the size of the video to put them in a quadrant on the editor, that can affect things a little bit. So so just pay attention, and like I said, look at them when they're in full size on the screen as I do the narration. And yeah, let's quit messing around. Let's get these birds up in the air. All right, let's go. Okay, we're going to start with the drone that should provide the best video based on its specifications, the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. It's got the biggest sensor, and it's got the most bit rate on the video. So normally in my videos, I'm going to show you a screen recording going through the safety checklist. In order to make this video not be an hour and a half long, I'm going to skip all that. We're not even going to do a screen recording. But let's quit messing around. Understand that I will go through that safety checklist with each drone before I fly. But like I said, for brevity, we're going to skip that in the video. Let's get this drone in the air. Okay, we've got 12 satellites now, so we're ready to take off with the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. Interestingly enough, it says ready to fly on the app, but it's still showing ADI mode on the controller. But we'll take off here. 13 satellites now, so we're going to do takeoff on the app, and I'm willing to bet we'll remedy that immediately.
No obstacle avoidance mode. Please fly with caution.
Yeah, and it's telling me obstacle avoidance is off. I'm going to go into the camera settings, make sure I've got everything where I need it. Video bit rate is still 200, and everything else is in auto, so we're good to go. Okay, let me turn the drone around here so you guys can take a look at it. And we are in normal mode. Let's bring it forward. And that gives you kind of a good look at the drone. And I'll tell you, I got to hand it to Hubsan. This is the most stable Hubsan drone that I've ever flown. And I've been flying Hubsan drones, well, since the 501S. But really, the original Hubsan Zino is the one that really had me going. So I'm turning the drone to point it towards the corner of the park, and we're going to do our droney right now, manual droney. So reverse and up now, and again, this is in normal mode. And boy, I'll tell you, this drone,
attitude mode.
Okay, for some reason we went back into
GPS hover.
Yeah, holy cow. The drone, okay, kind of interesting. We lost, I'm going to start over here because we lost GPS there for just a second. And I can tell you the drone started wandering around. It was interesting. And I also neglected to start recording. And that's the thing about not being able to do recording before you take off, which is, you know, a common complaint with this drone. I wish that that's something. And yeah, 14 satellites, and it was still in the red there, so I don't know. Anyway, we're going to try it again. We're going to start recording now. So we are recording, and let's start that droney again. I'm going to drop the gimbal here before we start, and reverse and up now. Reverse and up. And again, I'll tell you, the flight controls, they have so improved this drone. I'm telling you, Hubsan, you did a good job here. Let's pick up that gimbal. Nice flat horizon. Okay, so let's, we're going to yaw to the drone's left, and we're going to go out to the other corner of the park. And we're going to do this with all three of the little mini drones here. So full forward here. And at this drone, that's about about 8.5 meters per second in full forward with this guy. So, you know, this is a fairly powerful drone. I think the Fimi is a little bit more powerful. So I'm going to kind of aim out towards the Boise front here. And anybody that, like I said, anybody that watches my videos has seen this view many times. And I like doing that because it gives you a way to compare the various drones. Okay, so we are going to point kind of due east here. And then let's go sideways with the drone. And you can see how that camera looks in basically in sideways flight. And yeah, I was at full stick there. I'm easing off here a little bit to about 5 meters per second. And yeah, so it kind of gives you a look at the neighborhood and you know, how the drone performs. You know, it looks like we might, the horizon might have gone just a tad crooked, but not bad. Okay, so we are going to yaw to the drone's right this time, and, you know, pay attention to what that video looks like as the drone is yawing. I see they've done more work in the corner of the park there. And, you know, I'm getting just a tiny amount of stutter on FPV while doing that, you know, just a little bit. But I will say, again, that the controls on this drone, man, you know, when I think back on, you know, the original Zino how, you know, it was a great drone for the money in its day, but wow, how Hubsan has improved their flight controls and precision of their drones. It's just amazing. So we're going to go out here towards the flag. Let me drop the gimbal down. Let's kind of decide here how close we want to get. Right there, we're fairly close, and I'm gonna grab a little altitude just to be on the safe side. Let's go up about 30 meters or so roughly. I think that'll keep us out of trouble here. And you know, I just want to make sure I stay above all the trees and so forth. So I'm going to do a manual orbit around the flagpole here. So, and again in normal mode. You know what? Yeah, we'll just do it in normal mode. Let's be fair to all these drones. We'll just do them all in normal mode. So the variability is going to be the pilot here, folks, on whether I'm able to do a decent orbit here, manual orbit, and keep that flagpole in the center of frame. So we'll give that our best shot. They've been doing a lot of stuff at this park here. You can see that right directly behind us, right there, is where the basketball courts used to be. They made that into a parking lot now, and it looks like they're putting basketball courts at the other end of the park here. But this park is primarily used for soccer. Youth soccer, or football as you'd call it in Europe, and it gets used a lot. Trust me on this. Looks like I'm raising in altitude there. Whoa, boy! I'm telling you, yeah. Well, that was kind of operator error there. I'm going to move in a little bit closer. And hopefully I can do better on the next drone. And you know, the drone is kind of wandering around on its own a little bit here. That's kind of an interesting thing there. I had moved it in and I was off the sticks completely, and it kind of backed up. So we've got 14 satellites. We should be okay. Okay, I'm going to continue the orbit here. And we'll get pointed out towards the across the street, the field over there. Okay, that is a full orbit, and you saw the kind of the error of my pilot skills there, trying to do a full complete orbit. And okay, we're going to go full stick forward, and we're going to head out across the field out there, and we're going to take a look. And I got to be honest with you, having seen the drone go into ATTI mode there earlier, it's you know, I'm a little bit more nervous than I otherwise would have been. That's the first time I've seen that with this drone. So I'm pointing out towards the Walmart. We'll go out there a ways and kind of give you a look around. So we're full stick forward at about a little over 8 meters per second, which translates to about, I don't know, that's going to be about 18, 19 miles an hour, maybe even 20 miles an hour, roughly. So yeah, moving on out to the field that's actually behind the Walmart. I always think it's interesting. If you look at that street there that's behind the big Walmart, there's always people that that park there looking for places to park. So parking their trailers and so forth. So we'll go clear out to the corner out here, and then we'll turn around and come back. And the drone is handling perfectly. You know, I had a couple little stutters there. I'm at about 70% battery here, so This drone, it definitely, you know, they talk about how long it'll fly. It does well. You know, I mean, this is just anecdotal. I've never really done a real measurement of flight time on it, but I can tell you, I can say for certain that I get more flight time out of this mini drone than any other mini drone. So we're out there almost a kilometer, and you know, we're getting, yeah, there's a kilometer right there. So I'm going to come to a stop, and we definitely had some stutter on FPV there. And as I turn the drone around, I'm definitely getting a little bit of stuttering on FPV. You know, I'm not doing a screen recording, so you guys aren't going to see that. And boy, I overshot my vector a little bit. We are going to head straight back to the park here. See if I can get it turned around. But I will say, you know, for the most part, connection with this drone is good. And I also want to add that where I'm at here in this park, it's known to be have a lot of Wi-Fi interference. Get a lot of interference here. And like I said, again, I'm getting stuttering as it's coming back, and now it's starting to smooth out a little bit. But I just want to point out to you that on FPV, I got a little bit of stuttering there. Just so you're aware of it. And it's still stuttering a little bit, and you know, I suppose, you know, you're turning the angle of those of the antenna on the drone. Yeah, and it's saying that it has a lot of Wi-Fi interference. I'm getting a message on the screen, although we still have 13 satellites. I'm not exactly sure why that would be, why we would have Wi-Fi interference, but anyway, it gave me that message. But we're still, and that's me picking up the camera just a tad. We're still in good control of the drone. Still got 13 satellites, so we're going to bring it on back here. And we'll bring it to the park, and again, let's see, battery-wise, we're at 63% battery. I'll bring it around in front of us, and then we'll do an automated return to home just for the fun of it, and see if the drone can hit its, do a precision landing, which is a feature that this drone has, that the Fimi has as well, but the DJI Mini SE does not. So yeah, and I'm watching the satellite count go up and down here. We got as low as 10, and it almost seems like it's worse over the park here. And I'm flying it out kind of in the middle of the park, and I'm watching the drone. It's fun to watch that drone go through the air. Okay, we are going to come to a full stop right now, and we're going to leave it pointed the direction it is, and we are going to hit return to home. I'm going to do it on the controller.
Return to home.
So you heard that it took that command immediately, and the drone is coming back. I'm going to hit the function button to stop the beeping. Actually, that picked up the gimbal. Let me drop that gimbal back down to the horizon. So we'll just deal with the beeping. And let's see how well the drone does on its precision landing here. And see, it dropped the camera down by itself. That wasn't me. That was the drone dropping that camera, and it says searching for apron, and I'm seeing it's way off. I don't know if you see the drone out there, but it is way in front of us, and it obviously did not find the landing pad. We're going to let it land because it's just going to land in the grass there. And it stopped recording, so
TV has been turned off. It will turn on automatically after the aircraft takes off.
you know what's kind of interesting is now that we've landed, it has 19 satellites, and really the whole flight, we were between, you know, 11 and 13 or 14 satellites that whole flight. Anyway, we landed with 57% battery. Let me get this guy shut down, and we'll grab the DJI Mini SE next. And I want you to take a look. Obviously, you guys can see, but we're a long ways in front of the pad here. Okay, the DJI Mini SE, of course, this guy just shoots in 2.7K. A couple of things to note. If you look at the controller here, there is no LED display on there that gives you any of the information about the drone. So anyway, that's just a side note. This is definitely a bargain drone. It's the cheapest of all of them at $299. Let's get this thing fired up and we'll put it in the air and compare. Okay, one thing about the DJI Mini SE is, I mean, it fired up immediately. It found satellites immediately, and yeah, I mean, the pre-flight check, it said it was ready to go. Did not require any kind of calibrations or anything. 2.7K, 30 frames per second, everything in full auto. So we're going to start recording, which is cool. You can start recording with this guy while it's on the ground, so I won't forget like I did when I first took off with the Hubsan drone. So let's go ahead and take off. We are in P mode, which is normal mode in this drone. I'm going to hit takeoff on the app.
Takeoff. The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
And you know, in typical DJI fashion, this drone is just, I mean, it's just solid as a rock. So let's spin it around here. Notice that it was a little bit faster yaw than what I had with the Hubsan drone that I just flew. But let's bring it in here, rock it back and forth a little bit, and you can get a good look at the drone. And let's do just like we did with the Hubsan drone, and let's point it out towards the corner of the park. I'm going to kind of move it away from us a little bit and drop that camera down, and I kind of adjust my vector just slightly there. And yeah, you know, one thing I'll say, this old style controller of the DJI drones has its advantages. This is so easy to hold. Now, like most people, I don't like the mobile device down below, but it sure is easy to hold and easy to pinch and easy to control and nice and light. So reverse and up now, reverse and up. And those are just my observations. And boy, this drone, I mean, you know, I was making comments about how well the Hubsan drone, how much they've improved their flight controls. This thing is just buttery smooth. I'm just telling you. I think that's about how far we were out there with the Hubsan drone, and that's me picking the gimbal up, and we got a nice flat horizon. Again, we're going to go off to the drone's left. See if I can do a reasonable facsimile of a yaw here. And again, I just cannot say how much I appreciate DJI's flight controls. We're about 30 meters high, which I think is a little bit higher than I was with the Hubsan drone. But anyway, full stick forward now, and I think we got up to about 8.5 meters per second with the Hubsan drone, and this is getting close to that at about, I don't know, almost 8 meters per second. And again, this is in normal mode, so pretty close. And by the way, I had just a little bit of a small stutter on FPV there, which is very unusual for DJI, but this is also just a Wi-Fi drone. Well, they call it enhanced Wi-Fi, and I'm kind of moving over so that we can kind of get that same view. And yeah, so that's the same view that we had with the Hubsan drone, and we'll do the same thing with the Fimi. Let's yaw back to the right, and we'll go sideways and see if we can kind of go out about the same distance as we did with the other drones. So moving sideways now, and that'll kind of give you a look at how the drone handles that. I think we were at about 5 meters per second or so with the Hubsan when we were moving sideways. I inadvertently went a little bit faster than that at first. I'm looking at the horizon here. I thought it looked a little crooked there earlier, a very small amount, but it's looking good now. And we're going to stop right there. And again, what I will say is I've got this picnic shelter in between me and the drone, and I saw just a tiny bit of stutter on FPV. Very, very slight, but as we move sideways here, you want to just take a look at that video quality is what we're primarily interested in here. And I'm getting a sign that says aircraft signal interference, and again I've got the and I'm going to drop the gimbal down. I think we did that with the Hubsan. I can't remember for sure. So we're going to move sideways here. Or excuse me, we did not move sideways here, did we? We went all the way around. So I want to try and get as close to the same as I can. We went all the way around, and we went to the right out to the flagpole. So let me pick that gimbal back up, and we're going to go out to the flagpole here. So let's move on forward here. And again, I can't remember how fast we went with the Hubsan, but I've just got the stick all the way up. And the drone is just about right above me now. And I'm a little bit off on my vector, so that's me moving it sideways. Let's get the camera down a little. And I think we were closer to the flagpole than that with the Hubsan. I'm going to move sideways just a little. It seems to me, yeah, we were closer than that, I feel like. So, yeah, that looks good about there. And we're at 30 meters high. And again, I'm going to attempt to do a manual orbit around here. So we'll see what we can do. See if I can do a better job with the DJI drone than I did with the Hubsan. And it's again, you know, I'm in normal mode. You know, if you normally, if you were going to do this, you'd probably put it in a slower mode, in film mode or cinema mode, you know, depending on the drone, whatever they call it. And I can see already that I'm kind of moving out a little bit on my. It's so hard not to cross couple when you're doing this, and I apologize. And I always brag about DJI's flight controls, and there's a lot of guys that are better at this than me. Yeah, and I think I'm a little bit smoother now. I'm going a little bit too fast now. And I'll tell you guys, not as easy as it looks with any drone. So, yeah, we just about completed our orbit there. And there's our orbit. Okay, so let's pick up that camera, get back to that rule of thirds, and we will head out across the field just like we did with the Hubsan Zino. So full stick forward. And we're just going to cross the road here. And again, I'm trying to show you guys, you know, I fly this around here a lot, so you guys have seen this area with a lot of different drones, and so it can, again, I think it can kind of give you an idea of how these drones look, and you can compare. One thing I'm seeing right now is that I think we have a little bit of a tilted horizon on the drone here. In fact, there's no doubt it's very slight, but it's definitely there. So no doubt about it. And again, we'll just we'll run behind that giant Walmart, and we'll go clear out to the corner out there, just like we did with the Hubsan drone. I will say this drone seems to be holding satellites better than the Hubsan drone did. I'm getting an aircraft signal interference warning on FPV. I'm holding the controller up. And again, this is a Wi-Fi drone. And then if we're looking at battery, no doubt this thing is going through battery faster than the Hubsan drone did. We're already at 63% battery, which is plenty to get through what we want to do here. And yeah, I'm getting that weak signal and a little bit of stutter on FPV, but we're going to try and go out to that. Yeah, and RC signal lost. So I suspect, yeah, it's going to go into automatic return. So I'm going to click OK on that. And so we lost connection there immediately. Let's see how quick we get it back. Yeah, and it's back, although I still, and it's in return to home. You can hear the beeping, but I still don't have FPV. I kind of had a frozen screen. Although I do have control signal, I can see that it's coming back. I mean, I've got, it's counting down. It's about 700 meters away. Let's see how quickly we get that FPV back. And, you know, like what I've always said is, this is a great place to test drones because it's a challenging Wi-Fi environment. There's a lot of Wi-Fi here. Returning home, we're about 500 meters away and still no FPV. And there we got it. There we got it. It's coming home. We're just gonna let it do its thing. It's coming back at over 10 meters per second, so it's not wasting any time, and it's on a direct path to us. So we'll let it come back over the park, and then I'm going to cancel that return to home. Trying to cancel it. Okay, we got that canceled, and then I'm going to, just like we did with the Hubsan drone, we're going to go out here into the field. And again, it's sure fun to watch that drone go flying over the top, man. We'll take it out here into the field a ways. I can't remember how far we went with the Hubsan drone. I think about 150 meters or so, something like that. Maybe 100 meters, maybe not quite that far. So we'll compromise. We'll go out 120 there, a little over 120, and then we're going to hit return to home, and we are going to do that on the controller.
Go home.
And we're going to get that beeping as we do from DJI. Wish there was a way to stop that. I'm going to drop the camera down as we come back here just for the fun of it. And this drone does not have precision landing, so we're going to let it land as long as it doesn't try and land someplace. Look at that, it's pretty close on the target. So that'll tell you the GPS accuracy of this drone. It's funny to see the difference in these drones. The Hubsan struggled with GPS. This guy is having no problems, although this guy struggled with signal. Being just a Wi-Fi drone, and the Hubsan did a little better on that. But it looks like this guy does not have a precision landing within it, but it's gonna hit pretty darn close, and it picks up the camera, and look, it's 2 legs on the pad and 2 legs off. So even without precision landing that the Hubsan possesses, this guy did much better, and I'm quite sure that's related to the GPS issues we saw with the Hubsan drone. Okay, let me get the Fimi drone, and we'll get that guy in the air. Hey folks, this is a little bit of a redo here. You'll see I have a different shirt on. So for the flight of the Fimi X8 Mini, this is actually the next day. So the flight that I did yesterday for this video, I messed up. I had the white balance on the camera set on sunny day, and at the outset we said we would set them all on automatic. I realized that mid-flight, and I changed it, but then I didn't start recording again. So we're going to do a little redo today, and today is probably 10 degrees cooler. It's kind of cloudy, and it's a little bit windier, so you're going to see a few differences. Also, you're going to see my Corvette in the background. I'm actually on my way out to the racetrack today for a race, but in any case, let me get this bird in the air. Okay, I've got everything fired up, and the drone is reporting ready to go. I also, yesterday, the drone asked for a firmware update, so I'm going to show you that right now. So that shows you the firmware package that we're running, and we're shooting in 4K 30. Everything's on automatic, including white balance, and then we have video quality set to high, so that's the highest bit rate. So we're going to start recording right now. Maybe. Yeah, whoops, I started and stopped it. Let's try that again. A little bit of a delay on the phone here. That was interesting. So we got video started. All right, let's do a takeoff on the app. So takeoff right now. And there's the drone, and it's gonna go up to about 4 meters high or so. That's typical of what Fimi does. So we've given it a good enough look there. Let's bring it back down, and we'll bring it in front of the camera here. And it's getting blown around. This drone gets blown around by the wind. I keep having to push it forward. I ran into that the other day when I was up in the mountains. Okay, little buddy, hang loose. Let's stay still here for a second. Let's bring it in. So, of the 3 drones that we're testing today, this guy has probably got the it's probably the least stable. Now that doesn't mean that it's unstable, because as you can see, look, it's hanging there pretty good right now. It's just a little bit different, and not, you know, just not quite as stable as the Hubsan or the DJI, but we can, maybe. I've lost connection here. Well, now isn't that interesting? Disconnected, it says. And the drone is going back to land. I have absolutely no control of the drone. Well, that is crazy. Yeah, what did I pulled on the sticks and nothing happened. And look, it's dropping right down on the pad. Well, just off the pad, and it mowed a little grass. I have never had that happen before with this guy, and I'm not doing a screen recording, but I'll kind of show you here. I had absolutely no control with the sticks, and it just showed disconnected, and it was right here. So I don't know, that's weird. I'm gonna cycle everything and we'll try it again. Now, okay, so I've got everything cycled again, and we're waiting for the drone to connect and boot up. Now, what's unusual about that is if it was a problem with the app and with the cable, we would have lost the FPV and control on the phone, but we would have still maintained control with the controller. So I don't know what that was. That's really weird. We're back in business here, so I'm going to start recording right now, and let's take off again, and let's hope for a better result. That was bizarre. And okay, I'm going to let the drone rise to its normal height. And we'll turn it around, bring it back in here, drop it down. Yeah, the first thing that I noticed is that I had no control. I was trying to bank the drone and I had no control, and I thought, well, what the heck is that? And then I noticed I was disconnected. Very, very strange, and I'll be honest with you, disconcerting. That's not what you want to see happen with a drone. Okay, let's drop the camera down here a little bit, and let's do our droney. So reverse and up now, and we are in normal mode. And this is a very powerful drone, as you can see. It's moving right along. We're in reverse at about 8 meters per second. So let's see, let's go out there a ways. That's about it. And I think that's higher than we were with the other drones. I'm going to drop it down to about 30 meters, roughly 31. So that's close enough. And let me pick up that gimbal, get that rule of thirds. Just a very hint of a tilted horizon, not much, but as I yaw, we might see that a little bit more. And let's point it towards the corner of the park here. And I'm going to move the GoPro around so that the mic is facing me. And we're going to move the drone out towards the corner of the park. And I'm going to try and hold it at about 8 meters per second, which is about the speed that we went with those other drones. Now, if I hit full speed with this guy, it would go in normal mode, it would go up to about 11 meters per second. Now, what's weird is we got a great signal right now, no problem at all. Let's move around and get our kind of the same view that we got with those other drones. I think that's about it. And then yeah, let's yaw back the other way, and we're going to move sideways here a little bit. Well, I'll tell you guys, that still is bugging me. That was sure a mystery, the way the drone disconnected there. So let's move sideways here at about 5 meters per second, a little more than or so. I have to tell you, this drone, you know, I do like the controls on it. You know, when it's in close, is it as stable? Probably not, but it sure handles nicely. And all three of these drones do, really. Okay, let's, we're at the end of that, and you saw, and I noticed on my my signal strength meters at the top, we were in the yellow a little bit. But I want to tell you, I am, where I'm standing right now, I'm shooting right through the picnic shelter here, so that's that could cause some of that. And I think we saw that. I think there's also some Wi-Fi interference there, because we saw that with the DJI Mini as well. So okay, let's move forward here, and let's see if we can get towards the flagpole here, and we'll see if we can do the same rotation around the flagpole that we did with the other drones. And I'm trying to kick it up to, like I said, about that 8 meters per second. And the drone is right above me. We yaw around here. And drop, that's me dropping the gimbal down. Let's, I'm pointing the controller towards the drone. Drop that gimbal down a little bit more. I think we were a little closer than that with the other drone. Okay, that's got to be about right. So, okay, I'm going to try my my manual orbit around the flagpole here. And this drone, and you see me struggling a little bit with yaw there. This drone, I noticed that it takes more stick input on the bank than the other drones. And boy, then I'm kind of messing up that yaw a little bit. I did a much better one with this drone yesterday. We're not doing too bad. There I missed that yaw a little bit. Okay, so yeah, we're almost there. Yeah, that was not bad, I guess. So that's your this is all pilot induced. Anything you can see, anything you see here, and it looks like I moved closer as I went around, which is really easy to do. And I'm backing it up a little bit here, and we'll move around a little bit. Let's see, we're still at our same height, so that's good. That's where we want to be. We're going to head out into the field across the street, just like we did with the other drones, and we're going to go over there and run out to the corner over there by the Walmart. So that was me adjusting the yaw. And yeah, we'll move on right across the street here. And I am seeing a fairly significant tilted horizon there, but it's also windier today than it was yesterday, so take that in consideration. And obviously I see it a little bit better on the because I have the grid lines on my FPV view than you might just see when you're looking just at the video. Might be a little bit harder to see, although I think this one is significant enough. I'm sure that you'll see it. And that's me adjusting the yaw around to kind of point it out to the corner over there. And I have to tell you, I don't know what happened earlier, but we sure we've got a good signal now. And mind you, the drone is only 31 meters high, so you know, it's not like we're way up high in the sky, which, you know, a lot of people, when they do those range tests, that's what they do. And you'll see that's a favorite spot for truckers to back their trucks in. A lot of folks park at the end of that street, I've noticed. You know, I guess it's people that don't have room in their neighborhood or whatever, and a trucker, you can't blame him. He's probably visiting home and looking for a place to park. So we're out at 800 meters. This is right about where I lost signal with this drone yesterday. Yeah, there we go. We lost FPV and we lost connection. So that's right. That was almost identical yesterday. Yeah, and it's moving, it's turning around. We had signal back there for a second, but it's going into return to home. So the drone is coming back to us. Let's see how close it gets before we get FPV and signal back. Yeah, so I've got telemetry back. I had telemetry for just a second there. I'm holding the controller up. And again, I want to point out, we're only 30 meters high. So, you know, I'm quite sure that had I run the drone up to, like, you know, 60 meters or so, we probably would have maintained connection through the whole time. And that's just kind of part of this test, is to see how the connections worked on these drones. And yeah, so okay, we've got FPV back. So at about 600 meters, so that's pretty good. So the drone is coming directly back to us at about 9 meters per second. There we lost it again, so it's popping in and out here. I'm holding the controller up so that it's got the best chance of maintaining that control. The other thing that happens with the drone is when you turn it around, it changes the aspect of the antenna on the drone. So, you know, that affects the connection. So anyway, like I said, I'm not complaining about this. And it did ascend to its 35 meter return to home height, I see there, which is good. Because like I said, we had it so low, you know, it was about essentially 100 feet off the ground, so it's not like it was way high up there. And so losing a connection in this kind of a challenging Wi-Fi environment, I don't see it as a problem. So I'm going to get out of fail-safe return there and clicking OK. So we are going to run the drone out to, and I'm going to drop it down again here, and we're going to run it out to the park, just like we did the other drones. And then we'll do a return to home from there. And the drone is looking good up in the air there. I'll tell you, you know, we had that initial problem, and I do see a little tilted horizon again here now, and I'm going to attribute that to wind. Let's see, I think with the other drones we went out at about 120 feet, so we're going to stop right there, and I am going to hit return to home on the controller. Show you right here. And the drone immediately took that command, and it's coming back to us. I turned the GoPro around here so that you guys can see the landing. Yeah, we got that on the screen there. Better pay attention here and drop the gimbal down so you can watch what's going on. And again, it ascended to its 35 meter height. So let's see what kind of a landing we get here. See if we can get a precision landing. This is just kind of an added thing here, just to see how it does. Landing pad not detected, so we'll see if it finds it here. It's a ways off, so I don't know. You never know. Yeah, it hasn't found it, so I don't think we're gonna get it. Yeah, no, we're not gonna get it. I'm gonna pick up that camera so that you guys can see where the pad's at and where we're at here. Get you a good look at the Corvette out there. That Corvette's going out to the drag strip here in a few minutes. And we're gonna mow some grass. And we're landed, and it didn't detect the pad. I'm not sure why. But anyway, so on the conclusion, you're going to hear me probably talking about the flight that I did yesterday, but it was similar enough. So Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. The other thing I wanted to say is I do appreciate it shuts off video when it lands, and I don't know if I pointed it out earlier, but I wanted to point out the controller on this drone. I really like the way your mobile device is in between the two sticks. It just works really well. It gives you access to all the buttons on the side of your phone. Anyway, I just like that one. Okay, on to the conclusion. Hey, okay guys, here's all 3 drones that we flew today. I had a good time doing this, so I hope you guys enjoy it, get some benefit out of this video. So we started with the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. You know, the drone flew okay. The issue that we had initially is that I forgot to start recording, and that's one of the things with this guy, because you can't start recording before you take off. You got to remember to do it. As soon as you take off, you got to remember to hit that record button. So, you know, that's kind of an issue, and a lot of people have mentioned that as something that they don't like. And of course, Hubsan does that to manage heat within the drone. That said, we probably had the best control signal with this drone of the 3. Interestingly enough, you know, I initially got out there and it went into ATTI mode, and let me tell you, the drone was starting to wander around, and I could have flown it back. That wasn't an issue, but it very quickly got enough satellites, went back into GPS mode. But GPS was an issue with this guy. We never had, I don't think, at any time more than 15 satellites until we landed, which was weird. Once we landed, all of a sudden it had 18 satellites. But throughout the whole flight, it was between 10 and I'm going to say 14, 15 satellites, and most of the time it was around 12 or 13 satellites, and it did give us satellite, it called it GPS interference warning a couple of times, so that's interesting to know. But we never lost control signal with this guy, and we did on the other 2 drones. We went out to the corner, had a little bit of breakup on FPV, a little bit of stuttering, but other than that, it did fine. So, and again, we shot in 4K, 200 megabit bit rate. We did the best that this drone would do. And so you guys will see that video. And again, while we're doing this conclusion, I'm going to have those videos running up above and next to me here. So, so the next drone we flew is the bargain of the 3, the DJI Mini SE. Man, I really like this drone. It's just got those phenomenal DJI flight controls, and I know it's got the old style controller. I gotta be honest with you, I kind of like that controller. It's lighter weight, it's easier to use. Highly recommend this drone for any beginners. If you've never flown a drone before, you can grab this DJI Mini SE, and for 300 bucks, you can take great video and have it up in the air in no time. Now, that said, we did, with this guy, we had a little bit of stuttering on FPV. And again, this is just a Wi-Fi drone. And then when we got it clear out by across the field, across the road, we did eventually lose signal. And we got signal, well, we got control signal back fairly quickly. FPV didn't come back till it was out about 500 meters away from us, and we got FPV signal back. But the drone flew great. You know, again, this is only 2.7K, 30 frames per second. So statistics-wise, and I think the bit rate on this thing is like, I don't know, 45 or 50, something like that. It's not a really high bit rate on the video, but I will put DJI's quality of their video above anything. So you guys will see, and you can make your own decision. Again, you know, I think it performed very well, and for the price, at $299, it definitely checks that value box, and I can recommend this drone to not just beginners, but experienced people alike. I just always have a ton of fun when I'm flying it, but again, understand that it's a Wi-Fi drone. And then finally, we flew the Fimi X8 Mini, And I always get confused on these names. I always want to call it the X8 SE. No, that's the other drone. I've got a couple of those. This is the X8 Mini. Let me tell you, I am pleased with this drone. You guys all know the struggle that I had early on with the Fimi Mini drones. I had problems with, I hate to say it, but the first 3 of them that I had, my initial one, I dropped it and I broke this front arm. That was my fault completely, but even that one, I had problems with the gimbal moving around a little bit. And then I bought a second one. My friend Jet Martin basically had the one that he ordered, he had it sent to my house, and I bought that drone from him. And that drone was just never correct. I always, the video on it was pretty decent, but I could not fly it. Well, even right here at this park, I would be 100 feet out and I would lose video and control on it. So there was clearly something going on with that guy. But I want to say is, you know, I published that video. Fimi got a hold of me and they said, listen, we want to send you another drone because that's not the way that's supposed to perform. They didn't even ask for it back. They just sent me another drone. And that third one, it had decent connection, but if you guys saw that, the gimbal was wonky as heck on that thing. The gimbal would just check out every once in a while and go all over the place. Again, Fimi got a hold of me and they said, yeah, no, that's not right either. Let's, if you send that one back to us, we'll send you another one. So I paid to have that one sent back to Fimi, and they sent me this guy, and this one seems to work pretty good. So I couldn't be more pleased, and I paid 319 bucks for the initial one that I bought, and I think you can buy this drone now for, I believe, $369, so it still represents a pretty good value, and it does shoot in 4K 30, and it has a lot of those features that a lot of people are looking for. Besides the automated features, which all 3 of these drones have, the quick shot style, DJI calls them quick shots, automated features. Well, they do an automated orbit, a droney, a spiral, etc. Both the Hubsan drone and the Fimi drone also have tracking, which a lot of people really like, and they'll both do GPS tracking or visual tracking. Or active track, as it can be called sometimes. And a lot of people ask for that. In a mini drone, I don't know if that's for me, it's not exactly necessary, but I understand why some people want it. And I guess while we're on that subject, the only one of these drones that has obstacle avoidance is the Hubsan drone, and I'm going to tell you, I just don't know that it's necessary on a mini drone. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. There's a lot of things that come with that obstacle avoidance, particularly with the Hubsan drone, is it can make the drone, it puts more load on the processor, so it can cause other problems. So what I'm going to say is, when you're tracking with either of these drones, or if you're in any of the automated flight modes, pay attention, because if you have it in an automated flight mode, you can just go sideways right into an object or something, and the drone isn't going to see it. So you just need to pay attention to that. And particularly if you're using any of these drones for tracking, you may not have your eyes on the drone the whole time because you're on your bicycle or whatever it is, but pay attention to your area so that you don't just drive the drone right into a building or a tree or something like that. And if you're changing elevation, that's I guess the other thing I should say. Say, for instance, you were going up a hill on a bicycle. I'm not sure about this guy, but I do know the Hubsan drone won't take elevation into consideration, so you could actually fly it right into the ground in a situation like that. I can't say for certain with the Fimi drone, but I suspect it's the same. So those are things you'd want to pay attention to. In any case, the whole point of this was to look at the quality of the video. That's why we made this particular comparison. So you guys will have seen it already. I haven't seen it yet. So yeah, make up your own minds. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun putting this together. And I had fun flying all 3 of these drones. I enjoy flying all 3 of them. So anyway, see if I can get all 3 of them in my hand at the same time here. Yeah, that did it. Okay, this is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really absolutely appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And we will see you on the next one. The Hubsan Zino Mini Pro, the DJI Mini SE, and the Fimi X8 Mini. All right, see you guys later. Bye now.